Pump it up, pump it up.
Trae.
Come on, come on.
With Trae.
Pump it up, pump it up.
It's the day with
This is the day to gain inspiration, to make a positive change in the nation. We're inviting you to partake in conversation, to raise your vibration. It's the day that we will all celebrate all of our peace that make this thing elevate. Watch the negative fade away, cause it's the day with Trae.
All right, good morning. Welcome to the Day with Trae on this Wednesday morning. I'm your guest host, Omari Salisbury, a.k.a. The Big O. So happy to be back with you today. And I'm also here all next week as well, too. So, you know, you can get to savor the flavor as like I said, my A1 from day one, my good buddy Trae Holiday gets some well-deserved time off, right? Man. What's going on in the city? Well, this election. Yeah, we'll be updating with more news and information on that across our Converge platforms throughout the day. So you want to stay posted there. But for now, I am joined in the studio by JB Proctor-Mills.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
How are you? Now, JB is a prevention and intervention specialist with Seattle Public Schools and is also a pastor.
Yes.
Let the church say amen.
Amen.
No,
Amen.
you know, listen, I ain't playing. You know, my daddy was a pastor.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
No, not real deal. So that's what I'm saying. I'm uplifting when I say that and not downplaying, because if I did downplay it, Pops, he'd be like, boy, stop playing.
I know what you mean.
How you doing? Welcome to the Black Media Matters studio.
So thank you. This is a lovely place. The people here has been great. I'm just excited to be here, man, to see our community doing great work here. So I'm just excited.
Well, good stuff. We're gonna keep that excitement moving, man. First and foremost, why don't you let's start on the intervention side, with prevention and intervention. You're a specialist with Seattle Public Schools, but why don't you tell our audience a little bit more about what that work is and what you do?
Well, I am, again, the prevention intervention specialist for Seattle Public School. They call us PIs. So one of my jobs is to go into the schools. I conduct these right now needs kind of surveys. They're called check yourself surveys, and it's a questionnaire about where the kids are at social, emotionally, and with their grades, with their academics, with their family lives. And then based off of what they say, I have conversations with them, give them some supports, whether it's the social, emotional, whether it's the academics, whether it's just someone that they need to connect to in the building. And so I'm that safe place. I'm at Garfield High School, and we're doing some great things up there and looking forward to the remainder of the school year.
So a few questions is one, how many specialists like there are you across Seattle Public Schools, if you know?
There are about 14 of us. So we're in every middle school, and we're in every high school except for 3 at this moment.
Right. And how long has this program been going?
It's been going on. They piloted it about maybe 6 years ago. They piloted it at Madison Middle School, and they piloted so they started there, and they kind of branched out, you know, as funding got more. We are not secured funding through Seattle Public Schools. Most of our money is through grants. So as grants started coming in more, they were able to extend our program to different various schools. So.
All right. I mean, I won't hold it to you, and but I will say, to the way that you can qualify it and the work that you do, man. How are our kids? And I don't even just mean black kids, man. I mean, man, how are all these kids doing?
Yes. So we are sitting down dealing with that. We are. You can see that there are kids who come to school every day. They get their lesson, but they're broken and they're suffering in silence. And that's part of what our department does. We kind of, our survey goes and we can see where they are, have honest conversations that everything looks good on the outside, but on the inside, they're dealing with a lot of suicide ideation. They're dealing with a lot of depression and anxiety. A lot of our children of color are suffering silently because, you know, what we're told at home, what happens in this house stays in this house. So they're struggling with, do I tell somebody? Do I talk about it? Then we see, with the state of this country, we have children of Hispanic descent who are worried about if somebody's going to pick them up from school. So those are the big things that we're really we're seeing in our department right now.
A few years ago, right, it was something, don't hold me to the exact number, but I'm pretty sure they said that over 5,000 kids in Seattle public schools were experiencing some form of homelessness.
Yes. That is actually, believe it or not my department. My wife handles that. She also works for Seattle Public Schools. She works in the McKinney-Vento department. But yes, there are a lot of kids who are facing homelessness and food disparities. And then, so if you got all of that going on in your personal life, how do you think that a kid's going to sit through 6.5 hours and just be joyful about writing a 5-page essay? So it presents how they do school. And so my job within the school district is to find out what those needs are and get them connected to resources.
So what kind of resources are you able to connect the young people with?
Again, you just said if let's just say they are dealing with food disparities, connecting them to the McKinney-Vento program to say, okay, this is a student that's dealing with this disparity. If they are dealing with social, emotional needs, if they're flagged for depression, suicidal ideation, getting them connected to, shout out to Odessa Brown. They are actually in our building. Dr. Akufo is an amazing psychologist, but getting them connected to the resources without them paying for it, having free resources for them to get the help that they need to make it through, getting resources to their parents to talk about, what they're going through, to give them knowledge and give them resources. And then that's my actual job. But also at Garfield, I'm also the BSU coordinator. So
And for people who don't know, although you should know, that means Black Student Union.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. So Black Student, I coordinate our Black Student Union at the school, and yesterday we had an amazing event called Reclaiming the Village. So BSU led that, did an excellent panel discussion about what they're seeing, the disparities that they're facing within the district, within the school, whether it's, we're at Garfield High School, the Garfield High School, that does not have teaching staff of people of color. So how does that make them feel when they're in the classrooms?
It's interesting. You said reclaiming the village, and the world just got smaller here. Paul Sanders, who was on our show on Monday, actually produced a segment about reclaiming the village at the very first one, and it aired on Back to Basa.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. So we're very aware of reclaiming the village,
yeah.
And we were actually there, and we covered it here on Converge, and we did a story about it on TV.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm saying, man, we everywhere like air.
Yes, and so, but to have the student voices come out and say, and to their admin, these are the disparities that we're feeling here at this school, and then my job is taking their voices and letting it be heard in their teenage voices to put wind underneath their wings and let them fly and soar with it.
I think what would be interesting in helping people understand the challenges that young people are facing is that, if there was a way to present, in a confidential kind of way, but in a way to present to general public and to the mainstream the issues that young people are facing today, because I think that a lot of times the older people are, the less mercy and grace that they have for these young people. Oh, when I was your age, I would do this and that. Or, man, you can't do this. And, man, I used to go and work 2-3 jobs when I was whatever. And all those things, those realities were real, but they were real for a generation or 2 generations or 3 generations ago. And our young people are facing so many different challenges. Yes. I mean, when I was growing up in the Central District, man, there were some parents who was on it and some parents who wasn't, but there was a community that kept us all together. You saw somebody else's kid over there tripping, and they'd be like, listen, I'm finna tell you, I couldn't even act up on the Metro bus. Ooh, I see, I'm gonna tell your mama. Yeah. I see you on the bus. I mean, they've lost a sense of community.
Community.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of times the parents that's a whole nother issue in
Yes.
itself. They've lost care and concern.
Yeah.
They have the internet, which has actually been weaponized against them.
Yeah.
You know, and so our young people are dealing with so many different challenges. Like they actually have drills around school shootings. Someone actually gets killed at school. You know, rest in peace, Amar Murphy Payne.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so young people face so many challenges that generations ago they didn't, but they're being talked to, and people are expecting them to deal with their problems the same way problems were dealt with generations ago.
And I was one of them. Until I got into this role, until I started working in the school district, I was one of those people who said, well, back in my time, we didn't have this, you know, we didn't. But then it made me think about it. When we were, just one example, if we dealt with a bully, we had a bully at school, at the end of the day, at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, when the bell rang, we were at home and we were safe for 8 hours, 9 hours. And then if you had brothers, family, cousins like mine, we would, you got to fight me. If you don't fight them, you fight me.
Right, yes.
So it made us tougher. But the bullying doesn't stop because now we have Twitter and we have Instagram, and so there's no cutoff. There's cyberbullying. There's
That's true.
all kinds of things.
24/7,
And there's no break.
That's true, because even your most embarrassing moment at school,
Yeah.
kind of stayed there, worried about if maybe left the building, maybe didn't, and you know, no one could recreate it or whatever. But like, you know, now even if you did try to just fight it out, maybe you lost or something, somebody's taping it, man, they've now replayed and replayed, and there's so many. I remember in talking with SPD, it was a few summers ago. There was a lot of shootings. These young people, they were like, man, Facebook is a very big cause. I mean, think about it. It's like is so many people. I think Eric knows that it's like social media was a catalyst for quite a few shootings in the South End and the Central District.
Yeah. And like I said, you know, we had sometimes. I remember when I first got a Facebook, we had to log in the computer. Yeah, you remember you had to log in the computer. It wasn't an app on your phone.
Yeah, that's true.
And so now everything is just in your hand. And so now how do I deal with I'm growing my prepubescent self? How do I go through this while at the same time trying to be who these people tell me to be? Everything's in my hand. From the pornography, from whatever it is, whatever I want is in my hand.
Well, ideally, then we can help put solutions in their hands too. Then, right?
Yeah.
So now you're also a pastor. Tell me all about it.
So I say working at SPS helps me become a better pastor.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. But where are you pastoring?
I pastor the Greater New Bethel Missionary Baptist Church.
Okay, see, like we got, this show's all about promotion.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
I pastor one of the greatest churches I think that's in
Hello, get it
church
out there, uplift it.
So I've been there for about 6 months now. I'm getting ready to have my pastoral installation. But I started my church the year actually I started working at SPS.
That's interesting that you said that working with these young people made you a better pastor, because a lot of times people might assume that working as a pastor makes you better in the school because you come with, this background of space and grace and understanding. But how is it that working with these young people that are facing challenges makes you a better pastor in your church?
Because I see it in the pews. I've worked with it for 5 days out this week. So that one day when I see people sitting in those pews, I've had the experience to know that psychologically where we are, emotionally where we are, when you're telling me that you can't deal with your son or your daughter, I'm giving you resources that I wouldn't have had.
And that's something important, not to interrupt you, is a lot of times people think that the pastor's job is just to preach the Bible and tell you to be good. But it's really the majority of the work, my dad included there, is that so much of the work wasn't from the pulpit.
Man, my wife will tell you, I'm rarely home these days because I'm making sure that everyone who I'm connected with, if I put my hand on it, I'm going to make sure that it's done to the best of its abilities. So our church not only is open on Sunday mornings for worship, but we put food in empty bellies. We put clothes on naked backs. We make sure that our community, both in the church and outside the church, is being met. Every third Saturday, we are giving food away. Not just because of the holiday. With the government shut down and the SNAP benefits taken away, we have a platform where people can fill out a form to see what resources that they're actually, what that gap is and how the church can meet it. And if we may not be the only answer, we may have to call around to get it, but we're going to make sure that you're taken care of.
That's fantastic. Now, man, do you ever get discouraged? I mean, you know, in your work in the school and some of the things that you're coming across?
Some days, I'm not going to cap. There are some days where I'm meeting a young person and they just don't get it. They seem hopeless, and I'm supposed to have hope for them, and I'm hopeless for them. But that's when my faith comes in, and that's when God says to me, you're doing this for a reason. I got you there. And I'm lamenting around, kicking the dog when I get home. But then the next day when I'm afforded brand new grace and brand new mercy, when I see that kid, I love on them just like yesterday didn't even happen.
Remember that gospel song, please be patient with me.
God ain't through with me yet.
God is not through with me yet. Yeah.
And those are real places because, I mean, I'm the pastor, I'm the preacher, whatever, but and whoever's watching this is free for you. Your pastor, your minister, your leader gets tired. And I mean, I'm with these kids, again, I'm supposed to be there 9 to 5, but then the addendums to that, they need somebody to fill in to coach volleyball. Can you do it? You know, I've been getting home every night after 10. I got a wife and a kid, and my wife misses her husband. My son says, Daddy, do you have to go when I'm walking out the door? So they pay a price for me to do that. Now, I also owe, this is when you ask me when I get discouraged, I feel like sometimes I got to be a better father, be a better husband, because I'm too busy being a father to the kids who don't have fathers. But am I neglecting my son that's at home?
You know, it's interesting that no matter what, for us to make our community whole, a debt has to be paid for the deficit and the neglect that was put there by others.
Yeah.
If we want to make young people whole in our community, it takes somebody like you know, giving more to fill a void of neglect. Yeah. If we want to focus on these young people to try to make them whole. I don't think people really understand that, you know, the debt always has to be paid. It's the laws of the universe.
Yes.
It has to come from somewhere.
Yes.
It might come in our time. It might come in our money. It might come in our resources. But for us to make our community whole, debt has to be paid.
And just to piggyback on what you just said, again, yesterday we had the Reclaiming the Village. I was late I set up the panelists. I was supposed to be there at 10 o'clock. Pastor asked me to come preach. So I got to preach real fast. I'm running over there. I get there right after the event's over. And my kids, who I pulled out of class and prepped for Reclaiming the Village and their panel, who I was supposed to lead, got on my head. Man, you weren't here. You did da-da-da-da-da-da. And I said, I know, I'm sorry, y'all. And I promised them Starbucks. So they get their Starbucks tomorrow. And then the amazing thing happened. The lady put me to the side and said, everybody said that you're their trusted adult in the building, and if it wasn't for you, they wouldn't have been here. They give you a hard time, and I'm honest. All my friends pay taxes. I'm not trying to be no kid's friend, but I am as a strong resource. I'm gonna tell you when you're wrong. Can I say hell on here? Yeah. I'm gonna love the hell out of you, and then I'm gonna tell you when you do wrong. But I'm gonna celebrate you more when you're doing good. And so the kids said they know that they're in a safe place. He ain't gonna coddle you, but he's gonna make sure that you're taken care of. He's gonna make sure you're gonna have everything, and he's gonna always be in your corner. And that did my heart good. because the kids are reflecting that.
You know what's doing my heart good is sitting here and listening to you, JB. Like on the real, man. You know, we move from a doctrine of space and grace and understanding and tough love over here. You bound to get bust all the way down over here, but we ain't gonna leave till we build you all the way back up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're gonna tell you the God's honest truth.
Man.
But then also we're gonna try to help you on the way forward. And man, I'm so thankful for you. I'm so thankful for your work. I had no idea that this program even existed.
Yeah.
I do know because we covered so much stuff with young people, and a lot of it is just heartbreaking and it's traumatic. So I do know that a lot of the pain and disappointment that our young people are experiencing. But I'm so grateful that people like you are in these schools and you're having a whole lot of heart and understanding and be able to guide these young folks.
Yep. Again, my job is not specifically for children of color, but I was saying before we aired, I make sure that every child of color recognizes me in the building. Just know that they have somebody that looks like them, that empathizes with them. I'm at Garfield now. I was at another school where I was the only, whether it was admin or not, the only black male in the building. And there was only maybe 40, 50 kids of children of color in the building, and I made sure they were all on my caseload. I made sure their mamas and their dads and their grandmas, their aunties knew who I was, so that if they ever got into a place where they couldn't communicate or articulate what their needs were, I can be their advocate.
Man, that's so dope. Hey, what I want you to do, we wind up here. This is the third camera right there. I want you to look right there and just let our viewers know any information about you or the program, anything that you want them to know.
So again, we send you an email, parents, that if you get an email from the prevention intervention specialist, you have an option to opt out, and that's your God-given right. But I implore you to please just opt in. Let your kids take our survey and let us connect them to some resources, because we're not trying to make your life harder. We're trying to make your life easier. And I know, again, that rhetoric that Big Mama and told us, what happens in this house stays in this house. But I think it was Tyler Perry who said, sometimes some things we have to say outside of this house so that we can get help within this house to better our community.
All right, man, that's fantastic. And yeah, I mean, these kids need relief. These kids are carrying responsibilities far beyond their age. They've been traumatized. I know so many young people who their friends have committed suicide.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Or at a young age, they're out there on drugs and they're out there. It's like, man, we got to save these babies.
Man.
I don't know. Like I said, I think about like all these stories the last few years that we've covered here, man. And yeah, I would encourage, like, if you're out there, if you get the survey, you know what I'm saying, it's your prerogative to opt out. But you, the one thing that you might want to realize too is that your child might be facing issues that don't originate from the home.
Yeah.
But they're also not comfortable talking to you as the parent directly about it. They might feel comfortable talking to a third party about it. If you got a kid that's coming home and they just ain't quite right, and every time you ask them, hey, what's up? No, I'm fine, I'm cool, and it doesn't get beyond that, you might want to really take advantage of this survey, because they really might need a trusted ear to be able to listen to them. You see what I'm saying? And maybe address issues. So don't just assume on a survey that somebody's, well, what's going on in your home? Some issues, a lot of issues aren't originated in the home.
Right.
And a lot of times
Right.
we feel like mom or dad or grandma or our legal guardian, man, they wouldn't understand. So I'm going to just deal with it myself, you know? And I think it's important that the parents or guardians who get the survey realize that.
Yeah, the load is heavy, and again, the weight is on them, and they feel like, you know, especially in this economic crisis that we're living in, am I the problem? That's what kids are dealing with. I had a 12th grader says, I'm the problem. My mom and my dad are fighting because they can't afford X, Y, and Z, and if I'm not here, then the solution is solved. Like, no. Well, they're fighting to make sure that you have the resource that you need.
JB Proctor-Mills.
Yes, sir.
God bless you.
Yes, sir.
I'm so thankful that you came here today and you shared this with us. And you please come back anytime.
Anytime you invite me, I'm here, Doc.
Fantastic. Look, we're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, we're going to wrap it up. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Like a warm cup of tea, coffee, or your favorite bowl of soup, Washington Health Plan Finder is here for you. Whether you're exploring your options or need help finding a health insurance plan that meets your needs, you can count on us. Visit wahealthplanfinder.org today. Open enrollment begins November 1st and ends January 15th, 2026.
All right, welcome back to The Day with Trae. What a powerful and insightful conversation with J.B. Proctor-Mills. You know, I mean, we see what these young people are going through, and they need as much help as they can. And if you're in a position out there where you're like, man, these kids, I even be that way sometimes with my kids, but you know what I'm saying? We got to understand that it's different, and the challenges that they're facing are just different than the challenges that I faced, my parents or my grandparents. And man, let's have some understanding. Let's have some space and grace. Let's realize, man, let's find different ways to uplift these young people. And like I said, if we're going to make our community whole, if we want to end a lot of the things that are impacting our young people so they don't become generational, man, there's a debt to be paid, you know. And JB talked about that in his time, and not just his time that he's paid for with Seattle Public Schools, but man, that's the whole point. He's giving more. You see what I'm saying? Beyond all that. And big shout out to people like JB, who, whether their job has them interacting with young people or not, they go beyond their job to be able to make a difference in these young people's lives. So, all that being said, we're going to wrap it up here for The Day with Trae for this week. And Thursday and Friday, you'll see an encore episode. Encore, do you want more? And then I will be back on Monday, and next week, let me tell you, it is jammed packed. We got a lot of stuff going on, so you won't want to miss it. Big shout out to my sis, Trae Holiday, for, man, giving me an opportunity, welcoming me back here into the Black Media Matters studio. It's been a long time since I sat in this chair, so thank you so much, Trae. On that note, we're going to get out of here. And I encourage you to go forward in your purpose and go forward in your humanity. Until Monday, peace.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.